In honor of Halloween, trick or treat, baby. So welcome to episode 21. I'm Aaron. I'm the one who loves the Halloween season, but for some reason hates to dress up.
And I'm Josh, and I love Halloween as well. And my favorite candy is the candy corns, man. Candy corns. Candy pumpkins, like those pumpkins, everything that's like that style.
Brock's, it's got to be Brock's.
Absolutely. It's the only kind that's out there, man.
Fuck the other stuff.
Yeah, no generic Walmart crap.
Do eat the brown corn on the cob looking ones.
Yeah, I eat it all.
Oh my God, those are disgusting.
It's more like the consistent. I like the original the best, but the pumpkins, I think the pumpkins too.
All right. So we're obviously going to discuss Halloween 2018. Was released this weekend. That'll be the big release. But before we get into it, got some huge toy news. I think this is pretty groundbreaking.
It is. I was kind of thrown back a little.
I don't think it's been reported on any news websites. I haven't seen anything. But it got a little bit industry inside knowledge that McFarlane Toys has been sold.
Really?
So creator of Spawn and Tortured Souls, Movie Maniacs, all the sports stuff, it is now by Import Dragons.
Import Dragons. Where are they based out of?
So they're a Canadian company. And like, I only was familiar with them because they do the new hockey and baseball figures. So I looked them up to see what else. And they actually make those stupid Ushies. Have you seen these? They're like blind bagged shit for kids.
Yeah, zero interest.
No, yeah, nobody collects these, but I'm pretty sure they sell millions.
So people actually do collect them.
Kids, though.
Yeah,
it's like kids stuff.
Yeah, it's kid shit.
But they have enough money to pull it off. And I got this info, actually, someone confirmed it on a message board I visit. He was a toy owner himself, toy company owner, and he pretty much confirmed, I guess the New Jersey studios are being shut down, and McFarlane's no longer going to make toys.
That's like his jam, though. Like,
maybe this movie thing he's trying to get into. I don't know.
Like, is this taking up too much of his time, or does he think he's going to become a movie guy now? Like,
I'm shocked. I honestly, not to brag, but I am like the largest probably McFarlane collector in the world.
You're up there. You're probably
because I know a lot of people that only collect the sports, and then there's a lot of people that collect all the non-sports. I have them both.
I can vouch for this dude, and it's ridiculous.
So I feel like a piece of me actually died with the sale of this. Like I know a lot of people at the New Jersey studio. I feel bad for them if they really are in this predicament. And from what I'm told, they were not told anything. They're just like, see ya. So
you're hurt. You are.
It does. It sucks, man. It's like an era is gone.
It stings.
Been collecting that shit since 1994 when it started.
So now are they? Did he sell the name? Are they still going to make like McFarlane Toys, or is it like
that? I don't know.
Licensed? Like I don't know.
I don't know
going
yet.
To work out, man.
I don't know yet.
Like is McFarlane Toys dead? Is the what
I would imagine so. I would think the license is probably carried over.
That's crazy, man.
So,
I mean, there's a lot of collectors out there. You know, you collect everything, but people collect a certain sport or.
And it's weird. Besides Import
movie.
Dragons, they don't get into retail besides those stupid Ushies. So I don't know. Are you even going to be able to find this stuff? I don't know.
Got me, man. Got me. That's crazy, though. I don't understand it. But
so that's the only news I had. What do you got?
Well, we know The Walking Dead started 2 weeks ago, and that's pretty much all I need to say on that.
Yeah, we're over it.
Yeah, it had 2 episodes. That's it. Maybe we'll talk about it after we get Bunch in there. Do a mid-season thing, because honestly, I'm tired of talking about it. Same old shit.
So without further ado, let's just hit Halloween then, man.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to talk about on this
David
one.
Gordon Green's Halloween. Is
Yeah.
it better than Zombies? Is it better than Carpenters?
Not better than Zombies.
Is it better than anything?
No,
I mean, I don't think so.
Yeah, man. Wow.
You know, it's the trick or treat season.
It is.
And they gave us a trick.
Definitely.
Not so much a treat.
I felt like I smelt somebody's feet on this one. I really do. Yeah, what a great premise. 40 years later, we were so excited since we heard about it, and you saw the poster come out. Like, you were like, damn, look at this poster. Look at the mask. Look how real it is. Like, we were kind of, I mean, you were very excited about it when it first was announced. I was like, yeah, this is pretty cool. What a great thing. Great concept. Poor execution.
Well, I was excited as I was 20 years ago when they did the concept the first time and did it much better, I might say.
Yeah,
So,
I'll agree with that.
I don't know. It's another 20 years later in my life, but H2O, 1,000 times better.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking with this one. It's a cash grab. Really.
So let's talk about the cash grab. That's a good segue. So it's expected to make $80 million, and it's going to give Venom a real run, and that's only been out, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
It has the record for the highest grossing October release, and Halloween very well may break the record.
Which I don't understand. Like, we could get into this topic.
Marketing, man. Marketing geniuses.
It has to be. It really has to be, because Venom got shit reviews. We reviewed it on the last episode, and it's a decent movie. This got decent reviews.
No, it got great reviews. Like, it's 80-some% on Rotten Tomatoes.
4 last time I checked, like a day or two ago. Yeah. And what was Venom? In the 30s?
31%.
And I
flip the numbers around on each movie. That's pretty much what I would agree with.
Yeah, because I don't get it. I do not get this at all. But weird thing, both are doing excellent in the box office.
And I love it for horror. Like, this is very important that it does well, because I do want to see more slashers. I want more Michaels. I want more Jasons. And this making money shows there's obvious interest in the horror genre. They're going to keep making shit.
Is it interested in the horror genre, or is it the nostalgic factor? And it's a 40-year anniversary. So that's a big thing. And it is such, it was a groundbreaking movie. And it's people hold it closer to their heart, just like a lot of other franchises. Did that have a play in it?
It didn't really help Rob Zombies, though.
Good point.
So I don't know if something shifted, because during that time it was much more ghost stuff, and it's still kind of ghost. I think people are kind of over it. They want to go back to the slasher.
Yeah, but I think Carpenter was more tied to this one. Like
he is.
And that, people love John Carpenter, so I think that had something to do with it, in my opinion.
But as far as box office stuff, the highest rated, highest money making slasher of all times, the Friday the 13th remake, that made $40 million. This obviously killed that, no pun intended.
Yeah.
And then up until The Nun that just came out a couple weeks ago, that made $66 million. You will never guess what the highest grossing R-rated movie or slasher or horror movie is of all time prior to The Nun and It taking over. It is The Anomaly, 123 million. Nothing's ever probably going to beat that.
Right.
But guess what the fuck with the highest grossing
slasher
horror movie?
Horror or slasher?
Horror. Friday was the highest slasher.
Okay. We're leaving It out of it.
Right.
I don't know, man.
You're not gonna guess.
Lay it on me.
Paranormal Activity 3
Are you fucking kidding me?
$53 million. So until It beat it, that was the highest ever grossing horror movie. How many fucking dumb people are out there?
Dude, I could barely make it through the first
The first is
Paranormal
so
Activity.
bad.
Like, I did not finish it.
It's so bad. Like, literally, I can set up a trail cam on my patio and off camera throw a box across the screen and be like, a ghost moved it, and I'll make $53 million? That'd be fucking kidding me.
And we sit in a fucking cubicle all day.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
So Rob Zombie's Halloween was the highest grossing Halloween as far as opening week. They only made $26 million. So we're talking $80 million here. This is going to be a huge success.
Right. And still, you're talking low budget movies.
More or less,
Yeah. I mean, we're not talking blockbuster budgets. So obvious success, and we'll see what happens after that.
So I guess let's get into dissecting this.
Yeah, let's cut it up with the knife.
This movie was almost the exact opposite of Hellfest, I felt, in terms of the fucking pacing, all right? Hellfest was like, bang! We're in there, baby. Halloween took like an hour to get going. And this was a movie I didn't need the fucking backstory because I got the backstory 40 years ago. I don't need it. I want to see Michael
Right.
intense, killing people. I don't need backstory. Why are you telling me the same shit? Whereas Hellfest, it was like, we got no backstory and we actually needed it. They should have flip-flopped their scenarios here.
I can agree with that, man. It was a little sluggish. To me, it was sluggish for a good half an hour. And, horror movies, that half hour mark is the mark. But this did nothing leading up to it. And mostly because we've seen everything in that half an hour before in every other Halloween movie that was ever made.
It's like, we know Michael, he's pure and simply evil. Yes, we know. Thank you, Dr. Loomis. We know.
Yes.
We know from the other 8 previous films as well.
Pure evil.
It
exists.
It took forever to get the story rolling.
Yeah, it didn't have a flow at all. It just, I don't know, man. This movie, I facepalmed 3 to 4 times in this because of pacing, because of redundancy, and stupidity. And I'm talking like writing stupidity. It was just, there's so much in there to just rip.
And there's a lot that could have been cut out in that first part that was just god-awful, meaningless shit. And it just slowed down the movie. So I'll get into that when I have my 1,000,001 problems with it. But my biggest thing I hated was Michael Myers himself.
Really?
Michael Myers as a bald 65-year-old man did not do it for me. And the fact that they had to keep showing him over and over. You've never seen his face more. In the entire franchise, you haven't seen his face this much as what they show in this movie.
But they still didn't totally show his face.
No, it's always like blurred or half view or in the shadows. But it's like you get enough of it to know he's a balding 65-year-old man. Yeah. Not intimidating by any means.
No.
And then why do you keep harping on that he's old? We get it. It doesn't make it scary.
No, it doesn't. I could understand if they wanted like this creepy old man, powerful and, somewhat a little bit, he's a taller guy, built would have been better, but he's just like a normal dude. He'd be like this 65-year-old grandpa. Just like, I feel like going out and kill tonight.
Yeah, he didn't come across as supernatural at all. And I know Michael obviously ages, but yet he comes across as ageless to me in the franchise.
Sure, and that's part of the allure to it.
He's like Homer Simpson. The show's been on 50 fucking years, but he's still the same age.
Yeah, all of them are the same age.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that's how Michael should be. He's always going to be 40. He's got to be in his prime killing age.
And it's like the beard, he had like a beard, and it was like, I don't know, man.
It just wasn't scary.
No, and when they were at the asylum, and if you saw the trailer, he's on like this checkerboard, and they're tied to this huge like circus weight, and these wacky dudes are out there and they're chained there.
And that weight would have never held Michael.
No,
FYI.
Everything that he's done in that movie, he would have just picked that shit up and just chucked it like it was a softball.
Yeah.
No, he's just standing there, and he didn't have a creepiness factor. If they showed him as a human and it was creepy, fine, works. It didn't.
And I think going with that whole theme is like, he didn't stalk people like he does in the other movies. So he was more the prey in this movie, which I understand, like Laurie was the one basically hunting him down. But the fact that Laurie's not afraid of him makes the audience, at least to me, also not be afraid of him. It's like, this guy's so badass and evil, but yet you have this 60-year-old woman out on the hunt to get him. To me, it doesn't come across as evil then. He's just an old dude. It's not scary anymore.
It's just like the battle of the senior citizens.
Yeah, it's like you want to run away from Michael and do everything you can to possibly get away. And like, why would you even want to be in his presence? And here you are hunting him.
I can see that. The thing that was like kind of, once he came out and he started killing, though, he was a nonstop killing machine. And it was very indiscriminate. He just killed everybody in his path.
Yeah, I see. I had a lot of problems with that too.
But I don't know if I necessarily like that. Like I stopped counting how many kills were in the movie.
But he didn't kill everybody, and this goes in the entire franchise. Like, he's pure and simply evil. Yes, we get it, Dr. Loomis. But he's not evil because he doesn't kill a baby. He doesn't harm any of the children whatsoever. If he was purely and simply evil, he'd be slaughtering the trick-or-treaters. Kill the fucking baby.
He did kill that 10-year-old kid in the car. He bashed his head up against the window.
He did. But the kid had a rifle, so.
Yeah. But, the kid gets back in the car and he smashes his... How many head smashes were in this fucking movie?
Lot,
Is that all this dude can do at 65? Is just smash people's heads? There was more of that than, like, knife wounds, I don't know. Yeah.
I just didn't find him scary anymore. I don't know.
No, he just was there.
And, H2O did it so much better in terms of Lori. She was being hunted, but yet she still had enough of it. She came to her grips and just been like, I've had enough. I have to fight back because I have no other choice. So she still came across as a strong character without actually hunting Michael Myers down. The whole theme of that movie was just done so much better than this one was. I'm telling you, just go watch H2O. It's this movie, but far superior.
Yeah. And the way, Lori in this movie, she's been preparing for 40 years, and she went a little crazy herself, but the whole preparation and the whole, prepper attitude, going all Linda Hamilton and shit, like that's all the comparison you can bring it to is just that. And I don't know, man, I just didn't work for me. The whole compound, the whole, segregating your family, your family disowning you. It just, the storyline was weak at that point. That's what I'm trying to get at. Is like, that was forced and rushed to me, that part of the storyline.
And see, and them getting rid of all the other movies, Michael doesn't have this lore to him. He's a guy who just killed 5 people. There's a lot of people in real life who have killed 5 people.
Sure.
So it almost comes across as, Lori, it's been 40 years, get the fuck over it. Because no one else sees him as evil. They see him and they even allude to him. He's just a guy.
Right.
Maybe you should go and talk to him at the prison and come to grips with it. So he's just a dude. He's not this evil all-being thing. And H2O, he was, because the other movies existed. So it's like, he's this unstoppable killing force. There is a reason to be afraid of him. This one, no, he's just a regular guy. But yet she still has all these issues after 40 years. And she's going way over and beyond what she needs to do.
Right. And like you said, how many people in real life go through, like, there are serial killers and they kill 3 people, 4 people. You can still be a serial killer at that point. Okay. And are they pure evil? Maybe, I don't know. But in the movies, it adds something when you have the ongoing, almost supernatural feel to it and the shape and everything, it just didn't have, like you said, that, like, it wasn't evil.
No, he was a regular guy again.
Yeah.
And the thing that, she does go overboard, obviously, with the lights on her house, and she has this compound and all this shit. But if you were really that afraid of what happened, wouldn't you have moved out of Haddonfield?
Yes.
And
absolutely.
She does that in H2O. She moves to fucking California. Makes a lot more sense. She changes her name to Tate. It's no longer Strode. Everything in the movie made a lot more fucking sense than this movie does. So you're so traumatized, you can't get over it, but you're still going to live in the same town as a constant reminder every day?
Although she says, I pray every day that Michael gets out so I can kill him. Is that why she stayed? I don't know. I could be getting the fuck out of Haddonfield, man.
So I had a problem with that line. I had a problem with everything in this movie. So at one point, she knows Michael's getting out on a certain day. And I love how every Halloween movie, he's got to get out on, like, Hallows Eve.
Yeah, of course.
If you have a guy that's, like, killing people on Halloween, it's like, can you transfer him in, like, July, December, April? I don't know. But no, it's like, let's kill the guy who kills everyone on Halloween. Let's transfer him on October 30th.
Well, it makes for a good story.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, anyway, that's just my side rant. But
I thought the same fucking thing, dude. I'm watching this. I'm like, wouldn't it be more realistic though, too? Like you said, man, it's July. It's February. Make it fucking Valentine's Day. Make it another holiday.
But anyway, she goes to the compound and she's in her car watching him get on the bus, and the bus is leaving, and she just cries. Here, she's been planning this escape, apparently. Don't you think she would have followed the bus? Why wouldn't she drive behind it to make sure he either doesn't get out, or if he does, she can stop him right then and there?
Right.
No, she just leaves to have dinner with her family.
Which her daughter didn't want her there anyway because she's fucking crazy.
Stupid.
Yeah. And like it's almost like she had a breakdown. Like, I prepared for 40 years and she probably could have killed him during that transfer. You know, getting on a bus, fucking shoot him. You know, you have scoped rifles, snipe them. No, she pussies out and goes and tries to reconcile with her family at dinner, at a restaurant, in public, and just embarrasses herself, guzzling a glass of wine. All right, how about in the car? She was drinking those airplane bottles.
Yeah.
What? Did you not have enough money in the budget for like a fifth of Jack or something? Airplane bottles? Fuck.
So the other thing, I mean, she's so overboard with all this shit, and she builds basically a cage for Michael in her basement. She has the countertop that is remotely operated by like a garage door opener that lifts the counter away and all this stuff.
Yeah. And how many times did you have to see that thing slide over?
Yeah, we're like,
we
get it. It's cool. You don't have to show it 12 times.
Yeah, and it's like the garage door opener. It says garage on it. Like, oh, nobody's going to know it's the island in the kitchen that moves over and there's a secret stash of guns downstairs. Back and forth. All fucking movie, man.
But she's spending all this money, obviously, right?
Yeah.
She's got these slides, metal slides in between rooms as partitions.
That was kind of cool.
Shut everything down and would either lock him in or lock him out. You're spending all this money. Not once. Why didn't she buy like an assault rifle? You can't buy like a semi-automatic gun. Everything, she has like these 60s rifles that her dad gave her when she was hunting.
Yeah.
She has 1,000 of them, but they're all rifles and like assault shotguns.
Lever action rifles, bolt action rifles, and
like get an M16 and just fucking blow them away with it. Well, this day and age, look at all the terrorists and all this shit that happens in the world.
Yeah.
They're pretty easy to get.
AK-47s, okay?
Yeah, like,
the thing that cracked me up is when she's going through the shotguns and she's like, and she takes out the pistol grip shotgun and holds it up to her face and pulls the trigger. It's a dry fires it. I'm like, that would break your fucking nose, woman. Like, you would never ever do that. And that another just pissed me off that she's supposed to be this prepper. I know how to use weapons, and she's using the most archaic weapons and doesn't even know how to use them. Really,
it was just, you're trying to make this realistic, I guess, as much as possible. Then put some realism into it, and it just laughed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I had to laugh at one of the other inaccuracies when she's shooting the gun. Right, she's watching Michael walk. She's in the basement. Michael's walking upstairs. And they give this illusion that it's like slatted floors in like an old cabin where you can actually see through the floorboard. So you see his shadow walk by and she shoots through the floor to hit him.
Right.
I'm like, okay, that's fine. She's being smart. But then she goes upstairs and the floor is fucking fully ceramic tile. So how did the light get between the floorboards?
Maybe that was...
I understand it's nitpicky, but again, all this shit was adding up as just like fucking stupid inaccuracies.
When you have
bad directing.
When you have that many inaccuracies, like with the gun to the face, okay, was a big thing for me. The ceramic tile, the sheriff goes to one of the houses and he's covering the slide of the gun with his left thumb. Do you not know how to hold a fucking gun, you dumbass? Are you that much of a hick cop that you don't know how to hold a gun? He holds it in his right hand and he's trying to stabilize it, puts his thumb on top of the slide. You want to break your fucking thumb? Go ahead, dude.
And I love how he never calls for backup. So there's a bus with prisoners on it that all have escaped. So there's like 30 maniacs out on the loose. He just shows up by himself, no backup.
And when he calls for backup, he's already put himself in danger. Like, you come across a scene and he's like, oh, officer down, I need backup. Send all the backup you can send. Dude.
I live in a podunk town, and if you get pulled over for running the stop sign, 6 cops show up.
Yeah.
So you have I don't care how small the town is, there would be like 30 stadies there for this fucking bus, at least.
Well, that's because you live in meth country out here. So
it's like, again, just the realism factor was stupid.
Totally agree, man.
And did you have any problem with the ages of these people in this movie?
Ages of...
So the kid...
all the characters, or...
Pretty much. So the kid who comes across with his dad across the bus thing.
Yeah. The dude, I thought it was his grandfather.
The dad is like 70 years old.
Yeah.
The kid's 10, and he's calling him dad. No, that was definitely his grandpa. He's
yeah,
like,
exactly.
and why did he have to be a dancer? You like,
Yeah.
you had to throw the gay card in there. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No.
It's just fucking unnecessary.
Yeah. So the
Why even allude to it?
the father who should be the grandfather is talking more about sports, right? But was he talking about football?
Yeah, and going hunting and
Yeah, going hunting, blah, blah, blah. Well, Dad, this is really interfering with my dance class. I'm really not into it anymore. It's like, what? You know, he's like trying to like make it almost like I'm making a man out of you.
Just unnecessary.
Yeah.
He couldn't even been like, Dad, I just want to hang out with my friends. I don't want to go hunting with you. Like, all right, makes more sense.
No.
So besides his age thing,
Okay.
Lori's daughter, she would have had to have her at like whatever, right after the original Halloween.
I would think so.
But then her daughter would have also had her daughter at like 16 or 17 years old.
And they say this is 40 years later.
Right. So they both had their kids at 20, which it does happen, obviously.
Sure.
But it's not that realistic. We should have just had Lori basically have her kid in the movie and not get rid of the grandchild.
Yeah, I could have done with that. But I think that put that teen element into it. And that's why she was there, obviously.
But she wasn't even that used.
No, well, I think she was. And she was used because the other teens in the movie branched off from her. Everybody came back to the granddaughter. They all knew the granddaughter.
So, like, sticking with the age thing, though, Karen, who is Lori's daughter, her husband looked like it should have been Lori's husband.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that?
Daddy issue?
I guess. The ages did not match up in this movie.
No.
Poor casting.
No. And you know what? When I left the theater, that was one complaint that someone behind me had. They were talking about the age of the characters. They're like, this didn't match up. And they weren't specific about it, but they just said the ages of the characters did not match up. Don't know exactly what, but falls into what we're talking about now, I'm sure.
Yeah, so the other character, Cameron, in the movie, who was like a fucking asshole, right? Mm-hmm. He's in the new Purge TV show. He's pretty cool in the episodes he's in. But they actually allude that he is Lonnie's son. So I was glad they brought back Lonnie. Because, hey, Lonnie, get your ass away from there. So I love that in the original. But he's like 10 in that movie, right? Lonnie goes up to the porch. He's like a 10, 12-year-old kid. It's 40 years later, so he would be 52. Now, his kid is only 17. That's a little old, I think, right? Like,
It happens.
compared to fucking Lori's child who had a kid at 20. This kid's having kids at... I don't know.
Dude, basically, all this movie did was, like, I think Danny McBride and Green, what's his full name? Oh, he's got 7 names to his name.
David Gordon Green?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah. Something like that. How much weed were you smoking when you came up with this? That's what it seemed like. Because it was like, dude, let's write the new Halloween movie. We could do really fucking cool things with it. And we got all these ideas. And it's just like, pop, they're all over the fucking place. All over. And they tried to put it together, and it didn't gel.
So I think with your weed theme, the jokes in this movie...
I was glad you brought that
were
up.
fucking awful. And they were like...
Bad.
They were probably funny when he wrote it stoned, and he was like, oh, dude, he's going to dip peanut butter on his penis, and he's going to say to his daughter, I got to wipe peanut butter off my penis. Isn't that funny? And I was like, this is not funny. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in a movie.
Yeah.
He literally is making a peanut butter sandwich, I guess?
He was making doing mouse traps with peanut butter.
Oh, that's right.
And the mouse trap flipped open, and the peanut butter sprayed. And he goes, oh, I got peanut butter on my penis. And the granddaughter's like, Dad, really?
Dumb dialogue.
The movie theater was like this.
Crickets.
Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck? What? And along the lines with like with the jokes, was it Vicky, the babysitter?
Yes.
And she's babysitting this kid,
Julian.
And
Julian was funny as shit.
he was funny, but it's still stoner comedy. And it didn't belong in this fucking movie, dude. This is not Pineapple Express, dude. Okay? It's not fucking Cheech and Chong shit.
I mean, I laughed. The kid's cutting his toenails on the table, and he's
it was
like,
funny.
yeah, I'm cutting my nasty ass toes. He's like, why don't you give me something to do, you know? He was funny, but I don't necessarily want funny in a Halloween movie.
No, and yeah, I don't need a 2-minute comedy shtick about this funny little chubby kid cutting his toenails. And when the boyfriend calls, or no, the granddaughter calls and says, "Oh, I'll be over," and after the dance, and Vicky says, "Yeah, my boyfriend's bringing the Alakazam," and the kid goes, she gets off the phone, and the kid goes, "I know Alakazam means you're gonna go smoke weed," and it's like, what? Like, it was funny because the kid said it, but I don't need the stoner humor, man.
Well, what killed it with that kid, and again, he was funny, so he did his part right, but Michael's about to kill his babysitter, and he runs and he's like, "Shit!" And he does it in like a comical way. The entire theater was laughing for about 10, 15 seconds. It's the entire time that Michael's dragging her by the legs, stabbing her.
Yeah.
And the audience reaction was laughter. If you want that as a director, you're a fucking moron.
Yeah.
People should be terrified.
That's not instilling fear. If this man is pure evil, you're killing it with a joke.
It was so bad.
Your writing is a fucking joke.
Yeah, awful.
I agree.
So like every time that there was suspense in this movie, they immediately shot it down with some kind of corny ass joke. Every time.
Yeah. And even like false scares in the movie were dumb. Really dumb. In the beginning of the movie, Cameron comes up to what's the granddaughter's name? I can't remember because it's
Allison.
Cameron comes up to Allison's locker, and I think it was right after a tense moment, maybe after he kills everybody in the gas station, maybe, or whatever. The locker slams. You're supposed to jump a little. Then the very next scene, 3 seconds later, a book slams on the counter, on the desk in the classroom. And then there's the outside scene from the classroom.
Yeah, so
it was a lot of smacking, and it's just one on top. There was like 3 things right in a row, and I'm just like, really? This is fucking stupid.
So we'll get into that classroom scene, because a lot of the things that we said we were going to hate going in this movie, at least I did, was that it was such a rehash of the entire series. And I have to admit, I didn't think it was that bad in the movie, because everything that they showed in the trailer were rehashes, but that was basically it throughout the entire movie. I thought the rest of the movie was original for the most part, but they did have some classic homages. So you alluded to the classroom, which is the classic scene in the original. Laurie's kind of spacing out in class while the teacher's giving the lecture. She looks out the window, and it's Michael. Mm-hmm. Well, this time it's her granddaughter looking out the window. Same exact scene.
Yep.
She looks out the window, but it's Laurie instead.
And then they have a nice talk at the school afterwards.
Yeah.
Tries to give her some money.
Which was fine. But I was just like, you had that scene again. Plus, that scene was in H2O reenacted where the son does the same thing. So it's already been done before this.
And when you did it the first time around, it was creepy. Like, she's like, what the here's this dude. What? Who doesn't get creeped out by some strange man staring at a school? And it totally almost ruins that scene, because now you're looking at this old lady looking at the school with her hands in her pockets. Dumb.
As dumb as it was much better than the other Steen Sealer where they kind of did the same thing. So everyone obviously knows the end of Halloween, the original. Michael falls off the balcony. You cut back and he's no longer there. It's just grass. So in this one, at one point, Laurie and Michael are fighting. Laurie falls off the balcony. It cuts to Michael. It cuts back, and Laurie is not on the grass anymore. I was so fucking irritated by that. I'm like,
I facepalmed. I was a facepalm, dude. I literally.
God.
I mean, I sat there in my chair like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Like, that was the worst homage of all time. I'm like, you're making a joke of the fucking original ending, basically.
It's the same thing as the school scene. You're making a joke of it.
Oh, it was so bad.
Dude, and when the Allison's running from house to house, help me, help me, help me. Again, we've seen that fucking before. And it cheapens what you did. All these homages cheapened the original scene in the original movies. Totally.
And they had a semi-Bob scene in it with the ghost. So Vicky has got the Bob ghost sheet on, and the cop comes in and takes it off. It's her. So that was obviously homage to Bob. And then speaking of Bob and his death, the boyfriend of Vicky, he's basically reversed. Instead of getting stabbed through the wall and just holding there through the stomach, it's through the back. So he's facing the opposite direction. Same fucking death.
Yeah.
Michael just likes to hang people up, I guess. That's all he did.
Hey, goes to show he's still a powerful dude. Right?
Man.
He's still evil.
The deaths, not that great in this. A lot of them were off camera as well. A lot of them. The boyfriend off camera. You just see the aftermath.
But you see the aftermath. And the woman, after he bumps... Okay, so the kids bump into him, trick-or-treating. All right, we haven't seen that before, have we? And then he walks down the alley, takes the hammer, goes inside the house.
Which that scene was off camera.
Off camera, but at least they showed the aftermath. I did like that.
They didn't even show the aftermath of that lady.
Yeah, she was on the kitchen table with her head bashed in.
I didn't even see it.
You're probably so pissed off that it was...
I was probably
the scene was stolen.
Blinking extra long because I'm like, I already saw this part.
Exactly. Why? Check your...
I mean, he did have two cool ones, but they were the same. He basically stabbed someone right in the neck, and it goes like through their entire neck.
Yeah.
But they did it twice. Like, you couldn't come up with anything more original for the second one.
Yeah. Yeah, the teeth.
Yeah, which was done.
Yep.
The only one I did like where he turned a dude's head into a jack-o'-lantern was pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, he shoved the flashlight up.
Yeah.
That was
cool.
nice. And I liked Dr. Loomis Part 2, how he got his head bashed in.
Dr. Certain.
Which I have a huge problem with that character, dude.
Do you want to go on the twist?
Well, before the twist, is Sartain, did they have to hire someone who kind of sounded like Loomis? Was that in the casting call?
I couldn't tell if he was trying to be Loomis or Dracula. Couldn't really tell.
It was clear. He sounded just like Loomis. The mannerisms in the voice was just like Loomis.
Well, he was Loomis's protege.
Was that like, oh, I love Dr. Loomis so much, I gotta sound like him too?
Even Lori says to him, "Oh, you're the new Loomis."
Yeah,
she says that.
Which, are you making a joke at yourself because you couldn't fucking write a new character? That was the same character as 40 years ago. Yeah, I had a huge problem with the Loomis impersonator. That's all he was.
More or less. But the twist was so fucking stupid.
That might have been Faceball number 2 or 3.
So the cop runs over Michael Myers as he's walking down the street. He just runs him over.
So he's got...
It's very Ben Tramer style from Halloween 2, by the way.
He's got Sartain in the car and Allison in the cage in the back of the cop car.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
set it up.
He runs him over, and the doctor gets out to check on Michael, and he's like, "Oh, Michael's dead." So the cop is kind of like ready to shoot him in the head, and the doctor just makes this sudden turn and just stabs him in the neck with, I don't know, some kind of pen type thing.
It was like
a letter opener or something. It was like
a pen that had a scalpel like
in it. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was the weirdest penknife I've ever seen because it looked like a scalpel. I don't know. So kills, and there was a gunshot. So that I did not get at all. So Hawkins had his gun out. He gets stabbed. The gun goes off as they're chest to chest, but nobody gets hit with this bullet. I had a problem with that, man.
And the fact that Hawkins was shot earlier in the movie, like basically in the heart, and he's walking around fine 5 hours later.
Yeah, the kid who
doing all this.
The kid who was pissed off about his dance lessons takes a hunting rifle, shoots him in the fucking shoulder, and he's like out 3 hours later. Oh, I'm gonna go hunt Michael.
No one will stop him from dancing. So the guy puts on Michael's mask and he's like, "Oh, I know what it's like." Like he's so infatuated with him, which is fine, but it was just like so not needed. And people are saying I didn't see the twist. Neither did I, because it made no fucking sense. That's why we didn't see it. There was nothing alluding to it prior to say, "Oh, that was good that you did that. You had some red herrings in there." No, you just threw it in there sake for being like, we need a twist.
Yeah, and obviously
another stoner moment.
And obviously, like, Sartain goes up and he says, "Oh, Michael's dead." He faked that he was dead. Michael's not going to get killed by a car running him over, okay? And he puts the mask on. It's all doesn't even fit. It's just
it looked ridiculous. For a second, I'm like, if this is going to be the rest of the movie and somehow he's like,
yes,
Michael,
I thought the same fucking
I will walk the fuck out.
I thought the same exact thing, dude. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? If Michael's dead and this asshole with one fucking arm is going to fucking kill Laurie, I'll be like, I'm done. I'm fucking out.
And then I'm thinking, well, are you getting back into the cult thing? Was he really secretly part of the cult, like from part 5 and 6, that he's helping Michael this entire time? I don't know.
The movie just had no direction, man.
No.
It was a hodgepodge. Like, okay, let's throw this in. Let's throw that in.
And the other thing, going back to some of the inaccuracies, how believable did you find that this guy who's basically running a podcast, so he's like us.
Oh, yeah. We're better, though.
He goes to the prison, and apparently, like, internal affairs is just like, we'll give you Michael's mask. We'll take it out.
Yeah. The DA says, well, here's the Shatner mask.
Here, use it for your research. Just take it. So, like, me and you.
It's evidence.
We should get, like, John Wayne Gacy's mask and just do, like, fucking random interviews. But, like,
oh, can we get Pogo's suit?
Yeah, something. Like, apparently we're qualified enough. At least that's what this movie makes you believe. They're just like, here's his mask. Go have fun.
Nice.
Do what you want. So that's how Michael tracks these people down. I don't know if he tracks them down. He just happens to pull into the same gas station. He kills them. And we're supposed to believe the rest of the movies don't exist. So technically, this is the first time Michael's putting his mask on in 40 years. Mm-hmm. I wanted it to be like this most iconic thing ever. And instead, we get him putting it on his head, and he slams a trunk down like a fucking Toyota. And it's him closing a Toyota trunk as he puts the mask on for the first time in 40 years. Not iconic whatsoever. It felt like a really bad like YouTube video of like, I don't know, some comedy sketch.
Yeah, it's fan-made thing.
I was like, this is what he does when he closes the trunk.
Yeah.
I know he drives cars, but it was just too much. It's too much.
Okay, another inaccuracy maybe. How did the chubby mechanic, who I don't think was as tall as Michael, but the mechanic suit, fits Michael perfectly?
Well, I mean, you
Come on.
You gotta take liberties.
I'm not taking liberties anything in this movie because so much shit pissed me off. No.
But I would have rather he killed the guy in the bathroom, gets the mask, puts it on, and then goes and fucking kills people after that to get his jumpsuit. Like, it would have been made more sense, not that he just closes the trunk and drives off like he just put his groceries away.
Yeah. Anticlimactic.
So can we get to, I guess, some of the rest of the cast of... Lately in horror movies, I don't know what it is, but why do you have to hate the entire cast?
Yeah, there's nobody you like. You don't pull for anybody anymore.
The fucking fat nerd kid, I don't even know his name. I wrote it down here, and I still...
The kid in the devil costume.
Oscar.
In the devil costume, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oscar. He sounds like a loser.
Who names their kid Oscar anymore?
I don't know. But he had like this chapstick fucking thing going on that they were like alluding to.
In the hallway. Yeah. He's like, he kisses Cameron on the forehead. He's like, ooh, you got your chapstick pieces on my forehead. Oh my God. Why? Why was that written in?
So... He's just such a loser. Like, you hate him. Cameron, he was such an asshole to Allison. So you hate him.
Right.
It's just like, why do we have to hate everybody?
It doesn't add anything. Are you supposed to hate them because you feel bad for the main characters?
I think they do it so it's like you want them to die. But I think it's so much more impactful when you actually cared for them and then see them die. You're like, fuck, I can't believe he went.
Right.
And, during our It review, I talked about one of the greatest things. You love all of those kids. You love them. You fall for them. You're so interested. You don't want anything to happen to them. So when it does, it's like, wow.
That is a difference between a well-written movie and a non-well-written movie.
And Hellfest was the same way. We hated all of them.
Yeah, I could care less if any one of those fucking bought it.
I just think horror writers, please start making characters likable and give us a reason to like them. Just please.
Yeah. We need to invest in the character. There's no investment. Have the asshole every once in a while. I don't get it.
He can be the first death, and then the rest of the people.
Yeah.
So should we get to the ending?
Yeah, or lack thereof. Sure.
Yeah, exactly. There was no conclusion to this story. So the marketing, the advertising, everything was like, this is the ultimate showdown. It's Laurie versus Michael, the final battle. And what happened at the end? They both survive. There's no conclusion.
No.
Nothing happened to Laurie. Nothing happened to Michael. So she's still going to be fucking a weirdo for another 40 years. Michael's still going to be out there possibly stalking her. There was no resolution at all.
Yeah, and I don't understand how you prepare so much for 40 years. You lose your family, and it seemed like, wow, we're going to get a finality to this. Like, I really honestly believe that. There was no escape for him, you know? And there seems to be that there was an escape for him. And I don't see him as even pure evil. Doesn't necessarily make you that intelligent either. And the way that she set up her house to explode like that, how the fuck do you survive that?
It never exploded. It just caught fire. Like,
and that's another.
People can leave a house all the time when it catches fire. That's why there's fucking firemen that rescue people. It happens. So basically, all that happens, she lights the house on fire and just gets a card. She doesn't even make sure to see, like, hey, maybe I want to check out the charred remains. I'm going to wait until the fire dies down.
You would think that she would.
So basically, Michael's just going to wait for something to burn. Maybe, like, the ceiling collapses in and he crawls out, or he goes through the hole. He can punch through enough, and
I guess he's missing a fucking half his hand. He's been stabbed in the shoulder. I get it.
So what's a third degree burn going to do? Nothing.
I guess.
And, you know, but one part I liked in there, they have like a cassette recorder playing, and Loomis says to him, he's like, you need to kill him and you need to incinerate the body immediately. He's like, you need to do, like, cut him into pieces and incinerate him the second, because we don't want anything to happen to the spirit. Like, that's the way you finish him. But they don't do that.
It's almost like she tried, but didn't.
And again, this is where H2O was such a more perfect movie than this. What better fucking ending than she gets his fucking head, she cuts it off, chops it off with the fucking axe. I remember leaving that movie and being like, they promised the ultimate showdown, and I was like, oh my God, they actually did it. I was not expecting it. How do you kill Michael forever? Cut his fucking head off. And I was so, like, mesmerized by it. I'm like, it's really over. I can't believe after all these years, Halloween's done. That's what it was supposed to do, and they didn't do it.
Well, I think at this point, they wanted to leave it open, obviously, to see how well this does. It's going to do well. They're going to do another one.
But that defeats the entire purpose of the movie.
I agree. I agree, man.
The entire purpose.
And the way that they set it, like, so she has this compound. She has this basement hideaway with all her guns. It's hidden by this kitchen island that swings back and forth, which Michael can rip open.
How did he know that was a secret stairway? He literally just walks in the kitchen and was like, do you know what? This island, it's got stairs under it. What, do you fucking play Zelda too many times or what? Like, it's like that bush, it has stairs under it.
I got this. He's fucking intelligent. Not only is he evil, he's like got Einstein's intelligence, man. He can figure shit out. He's like Sherlock fucking Holmes, actually.
I didn't really understand that part, but
so they get him downstairs, right? And they knock him downstairs. The women come up from the upstairs. The granddaughter and Allison and Karen come upstairs. Lori's upstairs. Karen's trying to get up. He grabs her leg. There's this little tension. Finally, the granddaughter gets into it, takes the knife, and you're like, oh, is she going to turn? Like, is there something weird? Stabs him. She feels like, empowered, whatever.
Because we haven't seen that before in Halloween 5 with Jamie, but okay.
He gets kicked.
Right?
Yeah. I'm not disagreeing, man. He gets kicked back down the fucking stairs, and Lori hits this button or something, and these blades come across the entranceway and traps him downstairs. It's like a cell. He can't get up. He can't get out. Nothing. And then you see these gas burners. So propane, natural gas, whatever. They're all over the house, and you hear the gas flowing out. And then there's like heaters all around, and there's like the amount of gas that's in that room, it would have fucking exploded.
It should have blown up. And if it would have blown up, I could find it more believable of like, she thinks he's dead because he literally blew to pieces.
But they stayed in the fucking house too.
Yeah, the fact that it's just fire and it's burning,
basically
he could get out at any time. Hey, they got out.
Yeah, they were basically blowtorches, which would not have worked. You filled the room with gas, then ignited the fire. It would have fucking exploded, okay? No, they're standing at the top of the stairs. They see him at the top of the stairs. The fire's kind of around him. And what they turn, and now the upstairs is burning, everything's burning. The camera shoots back down the stairs. He's not there. They run out of the house. They don't know if he's fucking alive or dead, like you said. They don't fucking stay and look. Why? You're that prepared, but you're that scared that you don't want to know if he's alive or not.
I hated the ending. I hated it. And not to mention, he dies by fire. Just like the original Halloween 2 that apparently they had to get rid of because they hated it so much. So let's just make him burn to death again.
The movie was just redundancy over and over and over. So you hated the ending, but I was reading something last night that said there was a post-credit scene. So I looked it up when I was sitting there watching the credits, and they said it's not really a scene. There's no visual or anything. After the credits are done, you hear Michael breathing through the mask.
Which was like, again, the original Halloween. He's missing from the yard, and then you hear him breathe. And as they show the scenes of the different houses, you hear his mask breathing. So I guess homage to the original again.
I'm fucking sick of the homages in this goddamn movie. All this movie was an homage. Fans have probably been doing this on YouTube for years. You know what I'm saying?
My one buddy made a good point too. How was Michael ever arrested in the first place?
Good point.
How is he in prison? Anyway?
Yeah, how did he get there?
I didn't really understand that either.
I don't know, man. And the whole thing, we were told it's forget about all the other movies. Forget about them. They don't exist. It's one. Fuck two. And then it's this one. It's one, then this one. And they're telling you that because they took all those other movies and made this movie out of parts of those movies.
But not as well.
No. At this point, I would have just said 1 and 2 is all I need. That's it.
I mean, honestly, it was so hard to find things that I liked about it. And this is how bad the movie was. The only thing I really, really liked, the intro was very good. But again, it was basically the same as the first one, where instead of the pumpkin splitting open as you have the classic black screen with the orange lettering, this was like a rotted pumpkin, and they like reverse it where it starts to become back to life or whatever. Right. And it's the original carved pumpkin from Halloween. I was like, all right, it's a cool intro. Yes, it's the same as the original basically, but that's what this whole premise is based on. I can buy it. And then the musical score I thought was really good. They do have this new song when he's walking down the street. I thought was awesome. It had like these like siren noises into it.
Oh, I had an issue with that.
I loved that.
Because that and the scene with the mannequins. Okay. The granddaughter's running through the woods after she's in the car with the Dr. Loomis II, and Michael's in the back seat of the car, unconscious. She goes running through the woods and comes upon her grandmother's compound and stumbles upon all these mannequins that Laurie uses as targets. And it's like they did those weird zombie-esque Rob Zombie camera shots of just like focusing in and pulling out and just did not match any other camera shot in the movie whatsoever. It was so fucking out of place. And I was just like, oh, and that whole siren thing, that's a Rob Zombie thing too. He does that in 1,000 Corpses. I think he does it in Devil's Rejects. I think he might have done something like that in 31. Like, it's just that, like that, like the whole Dr. Satan scene was that type of music. To me, I don't know. That's immediately what I thought of.
And the only other thing I liked was Allison. Supposedly she's trained for this like her whole life. Laurie makes her. She talks like, I learned to fight at 8. I learned to shoot a gun at 8 years old, all that stuff. So there's this one point where she's in the basement and Michael's about to come down the stairs and she is crying and she's like, I can't do it. I thought I was stronger. And she's like crying. I can't, Mom. You got to help. And I was like, really? Like, if you're prepared, you should be able to handle this situation. But then the second Michael shows up, she's like, ha, tricked you, motherfucker. And then she shoots him. I was like, that was pretty brilliant. Because I wasn't buying that she should be afraid. And then the fact that she tricked Michael, I was like, all right, that was kind of badass. Those are the three things I pulled away from the movie. The rest of it fucking sucked.
I did like that part. I don't know so much about like the whole you kind of knew all three women were going to come together at the end to defeat Michael. I think that was predictable from the fucking beginning.
Do you think this is another like Me Too movement thing? Not to get political, but the whole like women triumvirate of defeating the man, and I thought it was kind of like over the top with it.
I don't think this was as well executed as other movies. I can see where you're coming from, but it was not executed well. It was rushed. The whole empowerment thing was rushed, and it was like, I think we should do it in the movie just because. So it actually ended up being meaningless. It was like, we got to get on a bandwagon too. Well, at that point, it's fucking garbage. I individually, the death scenes were cool, even though they were redundant. I like a good head smash. I liked the gas station attendant whose jaw was smashed on the table.
But again, you didn't see it.
Right, you saw the aftermath, but I like the aftermath part.
Actually, 3 people died at that gas station. In the gas station, you didn't see any of them die.
No,
None of them.
no, all just aftermath.
Bullshit.
And
So there's 5 deaths in the movie that you don't see.
You got a rated R movie, man. You can show it.
Yeah.
So what the fuck? But you show Michael smashing the shit out of Dr. Loomis II's head. Like,
Well, that was nice. Yeah.
that was just fucking. I said nice in the theater. Like, that was great. And then thankfully they showed the aftermath too, with the brain matter all over the road. Like, that was good shit. That was it.
They also stole that from Rob Zombie's Halloween too. He does the same thing to the pimp guy. So
But I like a good head smash.
let's get in the rankings. What do you rank this?
3.
You steal my notes. So, I mean, I'm on record as saying, like, I don't care if Michael's in space. I'm going to see it. I'm going to like it to an extent. So as far as, like, my Michael fandom, it's like, all right, it's a 7 out of 10. It is cool seeing Michael just fucking kill people. How can you really go wrong? But when you're judging this as a movie itself, as a movie in the horror genre, and as a movie compared to the rest of the franchise, it's a 3 out of 10. This movie is the worst in the entire series. And yes, Resurrection is better. I would rather watch fucking Busta Rhymes do Kung Fu than this fucking piece of shit.
It is a major fucking letdown. It really is. I don't know. I think that's all I can say is how much of a letdown it is. You hyped the fuck out of this movie, and we all look forward to it. And it's like, all right, let's dismiss all the other movies. I'm so interested in seeing what you're going to do to change my mind. Those other movies didn't exist. The storyline didn't exist. You have to make it better. You made it a steaming pile of dog shit.
And again, H2O was the same premise and done so much better. It made so much more sense writing-wise, director-wise. I thought it was more fun. I had no fun in this movie.
No, it was not a fun movie at all.
It just lacked like everything. I don't even know how to explain it. And I didn't realize how bad it was until I actually came home last night and Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 was on AMC. So I'm watching like the second half of the movie where it's Tyler Mane, Michael. And I'm like, the fucking brutality that Rob Zombie brought to that movie was awesome.
That's what I love about his movie.
And it's like, Rob Zombie's movies, they have a lot of problems with it. Dr. Loomis is a terrible character in that movie. Everyone has to be white trash for some reason. There's a lot of problems with that movie. It's by no means perfect. But when I'm watching it and I was like, man, this is a good Michael. And it just made me realize how lacking the Michael was in the new movie. I'm like, that movie's worse than I even left the theater thinking.
That's a great point.
I just couldn't believe it.
As far as I know, Michael's supposed to be a mystery, and we like that mystery about him. You've said it before. You like the allure of that. You don't know exactly, but this could have used just a little bit more of like, I think maybe the Asylum Michael would have helped a little bit more. It was just everything. No idea was executed well in this movie. It was just so choppy and hodgepodgey.
And the other thing I want to, they got away from the whole brother-sister angle.
Yeah.
Which, in the other movies, it made sense because it's like, why would he be so hell-bent on killing this one person because it is his sister and he wants to kill her? This, to get rid of it, and you're just supposed to believe that after 40 years, he's like, I have to kill her. They never really tell a reason why.
Yeah.
Why is he so hell-bent on it? He killed a bunch of other people in the movie. Well, they had no effect on what he did 40 years ago, so why did he kill them if he just wants to kill her? Because they didn't get in his way at all.
No. If Laurie's not related to you at all, it's just another teenager that you're killing.
Yeah. And, in some of the other movies, the people lived in his house, so he's like, oh, it's my house, sure, I'll kill you. Like, again, makes more sense than anything that was brought upon in this movie.
Laurie never went to go see Michael. Michael has no contact with the outside world. He does not know that some crazy lady's living in the middle of the fucking woods trying to kill him whenever he gets out. There's no tie between them. That was never, ever established. Laurie has a tie to him. She wants revenge. What's Michael's vengeance on her? There is none.
It
doesn't even, and we say like, it is scary to know that people just kill for no reason. That's very fearful. It's like, we don't understand. Well, it's fucked up, man. Who the fuck does he care who he kills? Whether it's Laurie or the kid in the devil costume or Cameron or some other teenager, the babysitter, it doesn't fucking matter. He has no vengeance for one person, but apparently he does. Explain that to me.
Can't.
That's what we needed explained, lacking in the storyline, man.
So where do you rank the movie? I ranked it dead last.
Oh, it's shit. I wish it was never it did not need to be made. How's that?
But I mean, do you think it's the worst?
Yes, it is. Yeah, absolutely. It's shit. It's garbage.
My wife's a big fan of the franchise. She actually ranked it second last. She thought Resurrection was worse. But the fact that you have to compare it to Resurrection says how bad it was.
Well, you're
because Resurrection is a pile of shit. There's no doubt about it.
Yes, but when you're going to have this movie made, like a 40th anniversary movie, that's what this is. You have such fans of the franchise, fans of Michael Myers, right? You're just like, it just lacked the climax that you anticipated, right? So you're more apt to even though movies were shit leading up to this, some of them were, you're still tied to those because this absolutely 100% let you the fuck down.
Yeah, those did what you knew what they were expected to do.
Yeah.
They met expectations.
This was like, fuck all the other movies. They didn't exist. We're going to give you something better. And you didn't. You gave us a stale piece of fucking bread, man. It's garbage.
So what do you think is happening with Rotten Tomatoes? There has to be some kind of hidden agenda, or they're paying people, or there is no way this movie is like an 80-some%.
Well, we talked about this going back to Last Jedi even. And there's movies leading from Last Jedi coming up to now where people are like, oh, well, there's people are logging in. There's bots doing this and ranking this, that, the other thing. It might be true at this point that there is an agenda of either a Hollywood studio, a fan base. I don't know if it's the fucking Russians anymore. I don't know. There is something going on that Venom gets a 30% and I ranked that, a 7, I think. Yeah, I ranked that a 7. And this, great reviews. I saw 2 or 3 bad reviews. The rest were just outstanding. You got to go see this. Jamie Lee Curtis, outstanding, great acting, great story. Danny McBride and Green did such a great job writing the screenplay and story for this. Excellent direction. It's a fucking letdown, man.
And the other thing I wanted to say, this is, again, the ultimate showdown. I felt like we've had very little Michael and Laurie action. They barely fought. I wanted, Freddy versus Jason style, the two of them just fucking WWF style, get it on. Like, yeah, Michael's going to use his natural abilities, but Lori would be using all these tools and like part of her house to like fuck him up. Like, she has to take something to her advantage because she's not supernatural. But I wanted a fucking WWF fight.
And it wasn't
do it.
It wasn't even cat and mouse either.
No, he doesn't stalk at all.
No.
That's who Michael is. He's always coming out of the shadows.
And they did do they killed the devil horns using the shadows, but it didn't even work when he busted out and
it's the scene basically from the Town That Dreaded Sundown remake.
Ooh, good one. Good call on that. When the podcasters were at the cemetery at Judas' grave, and he was the groundskeeper of the cemetery was there, and he's standing behind the tree, like looking at Judas' grave, right? Because he's drawn to that. I understand that, you're drawn to that. They pan over, his face is blocked by a tree limb. What? The dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Well, again, he didn't want to show his face
I get
outright,
that,
but I was like,
don't even show that.
I was half expecting the tomb to be missing again. And then the guy, why? Kids, why? Why do they do it? I'm like, that's how much of a ripoff it was. You were like expecting the thing to be gone, but...
Well, she did say it's like the most popular grave that they had.
Yeah.
Right? It's like...
That's kind of cool, because that probably would be the case. Like,
it's like a rock star's grave.
Everyone would go there like Halloween. Oh, we got to like light up Judas' grave.
Yeah.
So...
But I don't know, just like the way they blocked the face, they made it blurry. I don't know, man. It was just cheesy, man. That's my point. It's fucking cheesy.
Enough of that.
Yeah.
3 out of 10 from both of us.
3 out of 10. And
I liked Hellfest better. I had more fun with that. And it felt more like Halloweenish as terms of seasonal. This didn't have like too much of a Halloween vibe to it.
No, this was just a mad killer movie.
Yeah, it didn't... I don't know.
And it wasn't even like...
It makes me wish they would have just went ahead with Rob Zombie's 3 and had Laurie be the crazy bitch killer, because that's how it ends in part 2. And I'm like, at the time thinking, man, I don't want to see that. But now I wish I would have over this.
See, I kind of dig I don't think the Rob Zombie movies are... Halloween movies are spectacular pieces of cinematic masterpieces, but I enjoyed them a lot better than this piece of crap. I don't know. I'm like beating a dead fucking horse with this. You know what? Right now we're watching Trick or Treat as we're doing this. We got this in the background, and this is obviously a better movie. And so glad we're watching this after watching that fucking shit show.
Yeah, try to get over our disappointment.
Even with the and the 3 girls are at the door with their pig masks, and who doesn't like a good fucking pig mask, man? I love it. So we're making up for it. Watching this in silence is better than watching what we just saw this weekend. So let us know what you think about this. Reach out to us, dysfunctionalnerdcast@gmail.com. Let us know on Facebook, Dysfunctional Nerdcast. We're on the Twitterverse. What's our handle there?
At the Nerdcast.
Yeah, you got it, man.
Yeah,
all right. Yeah. Let us know what you think. Go see it. It's that time of year. Get into the spirit with your Halloweenies.
And there's only 10 more days or so until you can do the contest for the free giveaways, the Friday the 13th comics.
Don't forget about that, guys.
October 31st, we're going to announce the winner. So give us 5-star reviews on any of the podcast directories or on Facebook, iTunes, whatever, and that'll automatically enter you.
Yeah, and send us an email too, so we can double verify your entry, and we got some rolling in, so don't be left out, man.
So until next time, may you not get razor blades in your trick-or-treat candy.